I am Kim Hansen, CEO and co-founder at Gretta for Podcasts. Hands up, who here is a podcast listener? Well, you're not alone. Today, 1 in 6 of us is a podcast listener, up from 1 in 15 just 4 years ago. Podcast is eating the $65 billion terrestrial radio market. It's growing fast, but it could be growing faster. It's a little more discoverable, a little more shareable, right? How do you share a podcast? We've all had the experience of hearing something amazing, you want to share it with your friend, you send him a link, and he doesn't click because you've just hit him in the face with a big black box full of audio. Well, let me introduce you to Gretta. Gretta is a podcast player with interactive transcripts at its core. We marry the audio to the text so the words play as the podcaster is saying them.
Mark Zuckerberg famously launched Facebook as an undergraduate student at Harvard.
All right, so this makes a lot of stuff possible that wasn't possible before, skimming and navigation. To set the scene, my name's Julie. Gretta is my podcast player. I'm in there every day. Right now, I'm listening to Reid Hoffman's Masters of Scale.
My friend Mark Zuckerberg is the perfect person to talk to about this. He has no qualms about rushing out an imperfect product. In fact, his famous mantra is move fast and break things. And I'd argue that it's the foundation of Facebook's success.
It's actually an amazing episode. I'm going to bookmark this so I can come back and listen later. But right now, I'd like to find a new podcast. So I'm going to go to the Gretta social feed. Thanks for the share, Ben. Blue Apron, A Better Way to Cook. All right, if Hunter is sharing stuff, it must be good. Let's check it out.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides.
No, there's just the one side. I'm going to reshare that out to my Gretta social feed, where it will also get propagated to my Twitter and my Facebook. And finally, I'm going to add this episode to my playlist so I can listen later. Headline, I have just discovered a podcast through a share. Goodbye, Black Box. Hello, Gretta. And we know these shares are really effective when they hit Twitter and Facebook. Cody Goff's Curiosity podcast is up on the Gretta.com alpha player. He uses us to promote his podcast. This is him sharing his podcast before Gretta. This is him sharing his podcast with Gretta. Bam! That is a 46x on a podcast share. And we know that these clips get about 10 times more engagement than just traditional links. Every time someone clicks, they end up right back in the Gretta player, completing the viral loop that's been missing from podcast, which creates a win-win situation for us and podcasters.
Go to gretta.com, gretta.com/reading_glasses.
Our podcast partners are happy to talk about us because every time someone shares, their audience grows. So I know what you're thinking. There's about 10,000 active podcasts that could be benefiting from sharing with Gretta, but that's a lot of transcription. How do we get there, knowing that machine transcripts aren't really hitting that quality bar yet? Well, we've got a two-tiered strategy. Right now, our premium partners are paying us for human transcripts, and then we hit the long tail with machine transcripts. Give those listeners the opportunity to correct up a little bit before they share out, hitting that quality bar and improving our transcription at the same time. Nice. How do we get to this amazing player future? Well, right now we've got a web alpha with premium partners. 2018, we shipped the Google Play and iOS apps, and we work with podcasters to monetize. Today, less than 10% of podcasts are monetized at all, versus 26% of YouTube channels. We work with podcasters to monetize audiences that skew young, rich, educated, and extremely loyal. And then the big one, analytics on podcasts. Who's sharing what and why? Millions of minutes of podcast audio represent a big blue ocean of data, and sharing shows social hotspots, which we can surface as business intelligence. So that's a lot, right? You got to nail the UX, podcast partnerships, and machine learning. Well, this is the team to do it. I'm a video game designer. If you want to ship something fun and useful, you hire a games team. Reiner's out of the German car and telecoms industries. And Jen led the team that deployed and integrated the interview network, which was later acquired by Akamai for $2.8 billion. People are rooting for us to build this thing. People like Jessica Stahl, who's the podcast chief over the Washington Post. She cold called us last week. Right now, we are very pleased to announce that the Washington Post and Gretta will be partnering up to feature the American War podcast on Gretta.com. We couldn't be more honored that one of the most trusted news organizations on the planet sees our platform as a way to help more listeners see and touch messages that arguably could not be more important at this time. We are changing the way that spoken word audio will be on the internet. We're hiring and scaling to deal with incoming partnership requests. Join us to build the social platform for podcasts. Welcome to Gretta. Thank you.